Welcome back to this week's episode of the Marianne Hickman Show. This week's guest, I have been following her since before YouTube started. I told my daughter that. She's like, Mom, that's super creepy. No, I've just been fangirling over her amazing art, her photography, and who she is as a woman. And when she agreed to come on the podcast, I was more than a little giddy because Angie Monson is a role model for women everywhere. You're going to love listening to this episode. It goes into some different things that I didn't even know we would talk about, like faith and religion and spirituality, all incorporated into business and finding your true, authentic self. You don't want to miss it. Check it out. Okay, so I have to tell everybody, I have been fangirling over you for so many years. I first found you, I think, through Photo Biz.
Okay.
And do you remember that? The Photo Biz DVDs?
Yeah.
Back in the DVDs.
Yeah, that's how I really got discovered through that. It's really crazy how well that worked for my business.
I want to talk about that because
Okay.
I'm all about stages, digital and physical. And you got put on a digital deliverable stage.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so I was like, Angie Monson, she's in Utah.
Oh my gosh.
I was a photographer for 25 years.
Wow.
And I drew so much inspiration from your art, from your talent, from your eye, you know, and it's, you have a huge gift, and it's not just making art through the lens, it's for connecting with people. And as I followed you on social media and seen everything that you're up to and hosting retreats and traveling the world, I'm like, how do I get in the same room with Angie? And so I bribed you with a podcast, and I was like, let's do a podcast.
Come over.
So this is the first day we've met, but I feel like because you've been in the digital limelight so long, I love who you are and what you stand for.
Thank you. Well, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
So tell me about that Photo Biz. This was what year? Like 2002 maybe?
I was pregnant with Milo, so he's 13.
Okay.
Well, I did all my reporting, and it was Photo Vision.
That's
Remember
what it was.
Photo Vision?
Yes.
Yeah, and they just reached out to me and said, hey, we want to get you on these DVDs. I had no clue what that was going to look like. I had no clue even if I was going to make money from it. But I just learned really early as an entrepreneur to say yes to things.
Yeah.
And you never know where it's going to take you. I could have made negative dollars. I could have literally invested a few days and all my time and stuff like that and made $0.
So they didn't pay you to be a part of that.
No,
They just said,
but I got a kickback for every DVD that's sold.
I paid like $118 a month to be on that subscription. So
yeah, and it was
welcome to
genius.
15
It was actually really genius. It was really genius how he set it up, and before it was really easy to teach courses online.
Yeah, this was pre-YouTube popularity, all that stuff.
Yeah, it was really, really smart how he did it, and he would find people that were like up and coming, you know, changing the market, stuff like that, and so it was really cool. Beth Jansen came out, and I was like such a fangirl of hers. And she came out and interviewed me. I'm pregnant. I'm singing Britney Spears, like being a friggin' weirdo that I am, because I'm super silly. And they're like, I had so many messages, and I told him, I said, don't put that Britney Spears, me dancing pregnant. Like, I was rubbing my belly and just like being so dumb. I'm like, don't put that in the video, like kind of joking. He was like, oh, hell yes, we're going to put that.
That's the best content.
Yeah. I was like, fine, whatever. Who cares? But so many people reached out to me and said, like, you felt like a real human. Like, I could totally relate to you. You weren't like fake trying to put on a show.
Yeah.
Just genuine. And I think that's what I've always wanted to be in my businesses, is just be my genuine self. You know what I mean? Show up messy.
Yeah.
And that's just how I run my business.
Totally should have done the messy buns.
Yeah. We should have just rolled out of bed. Because that's how I normally am.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I have a podcast today? No, I'm not getting ready.
Oh, yeah. I do not put makeup on like most days. It's, even though it's 5 minutes and I feel like $1 million when I do, I'm like, that feels hard. I can't do that today.
I would rather not do it.
Hey, what's up? Marianne Hickman here. Listen, I'm interrupting my own show because I want to give you something. Now, you guys all want to get on more stages. I've got a free resource for you of stages that are just clamoring for guests. They need guests on a daily, weekly, sometimes monthly basis. This is my podcast database. Now, what I'm going to do is have you go to mariannehickman.com/database. Once you put in your information there, I'm going to send this to you totally for free. Open up this database. You're going to click through it, find the next podcast that's relevant to your topic, hit the application button, show up on their podcast, get in front of their people, and share your content. Remember, mariannehickman.com/database. Let's get you unlocked.
Yeah. I have better things to do.
So how many kids do you have?
I have 3 kids, and I'm a single mom, and I've been a single mom for 8 years.
Girl, that's such
It's been hard.
strain.
Yeah.
That's a big lift.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been rough, but it's also like, it has so showed me like my resilience and what I'm made of. You know what I mean? Because I just always told myself after my divorce, I have taken so much time to learn and grow and to become the woman that I really want to be. And I just kept telling myself, I am not settling. I am not going to get in a relationship that I'm going to be settling in ever again.
Yeah.
Like I would rather be alone and have things be hard, because I still have support in my life. It's not like I don't have amazing people in my life, but having a partner is really nice, right?
Yeah,
But they need to be a partner.
Exactly.
And I will not settle for less than that. And I'm actually in a relationship right now that's
For you.
really great. And that started at the beginning of this year. And it's been really amazing, honestly. So, but I didn't want to settle. I was like, I didn't work this hard and come this far to settle. I'm not doing that.
A freaking man.
Yeah. I would rather be single. And I've had amazing experiences in the last 8 years. Like from my pain, I built my retreat business.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got goosebumps. I got to get on one of your retreats. When you went to Morocco, I was like, I can't believe I missed that.
Yeah, Morocco.
What?
It's wild. It's like the best shopping. And I will say Morocco is a little bit hard for me to go because it's very patriarchal there. And I'm like an outspoken woman, and they don't like that.
We were talking the same father.
Yeah. They're just like,
okay.
It's like, oh, women just need to be quiet and go sit over there. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm not going to be quiet. So where do I go?
It's going to be loud over here.
Yeah, I'm really jumping up and down having my best time. Yeah. We had a great time. It was amazing. Morocco is really a beautiful country.
Gorgeous.
It's beautiful, and their culture is really interesting.
Okay, next podcast we do it there.
Yeah. Yeah, let's just do it in a different country.
Right?
Yeah, I've been to some really cool places, and, as much as, like, it's been hard, that pain, that feeling of, like, aloneness has taught me so much. You know what I mean? Because really, it's taught me, like, everyone has these feelings. You just have to speak about it.
Yeah.
We have to be honest about our feelings. And I think that I gaslit myself for so many years that, my feelings were not important, right?
Self-gaslighting. Talk about that, because that's uncommon.
Well, I think that just,
it's common, but it's not spoken about, right?
Yeah, and I think that, like, it's like we do what we're taught, right? So growing up, it was like everything got pushed under the rug. If you had a feeling, like, we're not going to talk about it, we're going to shove it down. And then when you go through something really big, like a divorce, it's like all those feelings come up, and then you have no tools to deal with them.
Yeah, and you're like, what am I supposed to do? And who really am I?
Oh, totally. And then I started partying and drinking and trying to numb, and that didn't work. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to start traveling, and traveling was really actually very therapeutic for me. And then now I hardly ever drink. And so I feel like I'm in a really good place of feeling whole, but that took me years to get to, you know what I mean? Just that feeling of worthiness. So that's what I want to give to women when I do these retreats, is knowing that, like, you don't have to abandon yourself. You know what I mean? To be worthy. And I think we're taught that as women. Like, take care of the children. Don't do what you actually love for a living. You can't leave your kids at home for a week and go on a vacation. Like, that's not okay. Like, all these messaging that we're getting. And I just want to change the narrative that, like, we matter too. And it's like, I don't know. I feel so strongly about it because, especially in Utah, I think women are really suppressed. You know what I mean? And I get judgment of, like, no, you just leave your kids for 2 weeks and go to Europe? Yes, I do. 100%. And I'm showing them that I'm going to live my best life so I can give them the example to live theirs. You know what I mean? And I don't feel guilty anymore.
Good.
I'm just like, this is what I do for work, so I pay my bills. And I'm doing something that is so aligned with my purpose. You know what I mean?
And no one can argue with that.
Yeah. So
let the haters hate, let the judges judge, whatever.
Yeah.
I love to travel. This map is like all of our places.
There's a place you've been?
Lots of vacancies there. But there's
I love that.
travel.
You've been to a lot of places.
We love it. It's same thing. We went last June and left our kids for a week to Iceland, and oh my gosh, like, I will take my kids back there because I want them to experience it with me. But now I know the lay of the land a little bit better, and I feel safer doing it now that I've kind of been there. But I love that you're all about being, when the feminism movement really started to kick off. It was a lot of women pretending to be the thing that they hated most. which is the man.
Yeah.
You know, I have to be manly and I have to be tough in order to not be a woman. And now it's morphed and matured into something that says, no, we get to be beautiful. And we get the days you feel like putting makeup on, we can do that. And we get to be a feminine strength. And you are celebrating that so beautifully. And
thank you.
I have drawn a lot of strength from your social media posts and your self-acceptance and your self-love. And I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of peace to be found in that. There's a lot of, I'm gonna make my mistakes. I'm gonna mess up, and I'm gonna say I'm not gonna judge myself for it because I'm a lying face.
Well, and I think that I always go back to this, like when I'm on my retreats and I'm teaching, and I'm just kind of feel into things and I teach whatever I'm inspired to teach. I don't have like a roadmap.
Yeah. Do you have a playbook or?
No, I'm very like energy based, so I'll get there and kind of feel the energy of the group, and then I feel into what they need. Do you know what I mean?
That takes so much mastery. Because you're on these things for days and days and days.
Well, this is the part of being in your feminine. It's being in your flow.
Yeah.
It's just letting your intuition lead you. And you have to have like, the reason why I love these retreats too is I'm teaching to like really get quiet with yourself and meditate, because women's superpower is their intuition. Like when we get chills, you know, when we feel like our like a gut instinct, we're like, our bodies are so like, we're born with a knowing. And then, you know, as we age, the world takes that knowing away from us because there's so much noise. Like, you should be like this. You should work 9 to 5. You should. Religion. Like, everything is telling you, taking you away from your knowing. And what I want to drive home with women is you need to have a practice every day where you are quiet so you can hear. So you can hear your knowing and be in your intuition. Because that will lead you to the place you need to go. You know what I mean?
And then owning that, because my weakest points have been feeling like I know, sharing, and then having that share be doubted or guessed. And I'm like, oh, maybe I am wrong. Maybe there's something I'm not. I'll step back.
I've definitely done that too.
You know?
Yeah.
And and maybe that's the self-gaslighting that you're talking about.
Yeah. It's like, don't doubt yourself. You know what I mean? But I totally get that because I have done that. But what I kind of got to at a certain point was like, whenever I share, I don't care how many people like it. I don't care how many people comment. I'm like, this is my online journal. This is me spreading my knowing, my purpose to the world. And if it hits, great. And if it doesn't, oh well.
Yeah.
I'm still worthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the conversation I've had to have with myself, is I don't care what people think anymore. I care what I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there are a few people in my life where I do care what they think. If they came to me and gave me feedback, I would really care.
Yeah.
But if it was someone online that gave me a nasty comment, I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. I have
Like, I don't know you know?
I gotta introduce you to Christina too. You would love her, but she struggles a lot with the lashback on social media and the hate from strangers that don't even know you. And were you immediately immune to the nasty grams, or did it take some work?
You know, it's funny. I really have not had a lot of nasty comments, now that I really think about it. And if I did, I just didn't let it get to me.
You didn't even
because I think that I'd done so much work on myself. Is like, the goal is for you to like you. Who are you going to be with for the rest of your life? Yourself.
Yeah.
That's it. That is it. Like, we are not in control if a partner stays in our life, if our kids are going to stay around us, if they're going to move out of the country. We have no control over that. So, like, for me, it's like, if I stay so solid in my own foundation that, like, those things aren't going to rock me, because I know it's a projection of their own fear. Like, I can see, because I'm such an empath too, I'm like, oh, they're struggling. Like, when someone says something nasty, it's funny, as an empath, I'll go to, oh, they're hurting.
Yeah.
Instead of like, screw them, I hate them. I don't think that way.
Yeah.
Because I have come so far in my healing. I don't think you ever get to a point where you're like fully healed.
No,
you're fully
met an enlightened person that says they are. I don't believe them.
No, and every day it can be a struggle, right? Yeah. Like, even now, I still struggle with a lot of things. However, I do have this, like, I have gotten to the point where I do feel very worthy. You know what I mean? And I feel whole in a lot of ways. Is life still a struggle? Yes.
I think it always will be. It's just maintenance.
We're human.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is maintenance.
It's going to the gym, and there will be a point where you reach your fitness goals, but it doesn't mean you stop going to the gym. And it doesn't mean you stop doing the hard things.
No, you just have to enjoy the journey of learning and look at every hard thing in your life as a lesson. Like, it's teaching you something. Instead, like, last year when I got so sick, I was like totally in victim for the first few months, and then I kind of sat with myself and I was like, what is this trying to teach me? And in the end, I think it was trying to teach me how to slow down. You know what I mean? Like my body was like, no, you need to slow down. We're going to put you in the bed for like 6 months. You know what I mean?
Ew, weird.
And I had to learn to completely be with my feelings, allow them, stop gaslighting myself, and get to the point where I really felt whole, where I felt okay. You know what I mean? Where I wasn't always trying to like fix myself. Because I think one of the really negative things about self-help journey, you know, that a lot of people are on, is that we're getting the message that we're broken, but we are not broken. You know what I mean? There's things that we really need to look at. We might need to heal, but we're never broken. We're always whole. It's just that we have to be in acceptance that we are. We have to forgive ourselves, forgive others, you know, for the stuff that we've done in our lives, and just accept where we're at. And that's when you get to wholeness. It's just acceptance.
It just that fills my heart right now. Like, what if we just paused and said, like, I'm actually okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Holy
Doesn't that feel good though? It's like, I accept. Whenever I'm like getting really hard on myself, I'll stop my brain and just be like, I accept. I accept where I'm at. I accept everything I am right now. And I'm just going to breathe in this moment. You know
what took you from like this amazing photography business, or at least I'm labeling it amazing because that's what I saw of it. I know there were the hard days and the budgeting and all of that stuff, into women's retreats. Like, were you always doing both, or did you transition?
No. So it was really funny. So I was doing my photography and things were going well, but I was starting, when I went through my divorce, it just shook me to my core.
Yeah. Especially in Utah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's socio-culture, religious.
Yeah. Yeah. So I left the Mormon church at 27, had kids right after that, or around there, had 3 kids, and then left my marriage at 36. And it was just like everything I knew, like I didn't know it kind of felt like I knew nothing. Because it shook me so, it's like
your manual is gone.
Well, it was my awakening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like when you become more conscious, you wake up and you're like, oh my goodness, all these systems I believed in my entire life are actually like false, or maybe they don't work for me. Do you know what I mean? And how can I recreate my life?
But in this recreation, did you find like there was a difference between religion and spirituality?
Oh, for sure.
Because I feel like I've seen that from you. Like there's a big difference.
Yeah, I've even just this last year, I've really, spirituality is so beautiful. It is such a personal experience too. And so like, even when people are religious, that is their spirituality, right? Like they believe in a God, or they believe in whatever they believe in. Right. And I can honor that, right? But it is such a personal thing that we all need to honor each other's the way we see. Like I could believe in a unicorn, and that feels so real to me.
Yeah.
And that should be honored by the people in your life. You know what I mean? But for me, my biggest takeaway is that, you know, religion doesn't work for me anymore. It's not something I would ever subscribe to again. And the reason is because it takes you away from your knowing. It takes you away from your intuition. It takes you away from leading yourself and from knowing the answers for yourself. Instead, you are reaching outside of you for the answers. And I honestly just don't think that works for me.
Yeah.
That might work for other people. Like my entire family is LDS.
Yeah.
And it works for them. And they really love it. They love being a part of it. They feel like they're a part of community. They feel like they're part of something bigger. And I think as humans, we want the answers. And so it feels safe, right? And to me, I'm okay feeling unsafe. Like I'm okay not knowing the answers.
Yeah.
I'm okay knowing that like we're here for a reason and nobody knows. No one can prove it. Not one person can fully prove that there is a God.
And that's the beauty of faith.
Yeah. And that's and everybody has their faith process.
Yeah.
And mine looks like meditation. Mine looks like feeling a part of the collective, right? We are all part of this collective on earth, and feeling that we are all one. So when I go out into the world, I'm like, I'm just going to share my love with everyone. That is my religion, is love. Like,
I think that's what religion is supposed to be.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, it misses the mark.
It does.
I think the culture in the organization, the intention is there. The intention.
I think the intention is actually good.
Yeah. Right. But then we get mixed up in politics of religion and all of this stuff. I'm so glad we got to this. I didn't even plan on talking about it. It's part of my heart hope that we would. But I have, was it Dan Clark that said, religion is for people who are afraid of hell, and spirituality is for those that have already been there.
That is so true, because I feel like I have had like, I don't know if you know what a dark night of the soul is, but you go like in a really dark place for a little while because you're trying to figure out what your reality is going to look like. You know, like you're going through hell trying to figure out everything in my life I've been told feels like a lie. And I got to recreate my life, you know? And so you go into this darkness and it does feel like hell. Yeah, but when you come out of it, you feel so bright, like you're this bright light, right? Because you finally got to a place where you feel like really secure and happy in your own life and in your own being. And no one needs to tell you what to do or where to go. You can think for yourself. And you're critically thinking for your life, for yourself. For me, I'm like, I've always worked for myself. I can't see the system of working 9 to 5 ever.
Oh,
like,
gosh.
That doesn't work for me. Religion doesn't work for me. The 9 to 5 lifestyle doesn't work for me. Like, being this perfect stay-at-home domestic mom does not work for me. Like, I am an entrepreneur. I was born an entrepreneur. I was reselling my Halloween candy, like at age 6. Literally. I would go on the streets and resell it, like the week after Halloween.
You were a sister for another mister. I did the exact same thing. I resell my kids' Halloween candy back to them.
Yeah, that's smart.
Not for money, but for flattery and chores.
Yeah, for chores. Yeah, I like that.
If left to my own devices, I will start another business. It happens almost on accident. Look, my husband, I'm like, I buy something on Temu. I'm like, if I buy 2, I could sell the other one.
Yeah.
Pay for the first one.
That's an entrepreneur like that. For sure. I know I get bored for like 2 days. I'm like, I think I'm going to start another business.
Oh, man. I'm constantly being reined in. I'm like, no, focus. No, just focus. Keep going.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I'm so glad now.
What's your Enneagram? Do you know your Enneagram?
Oh, is that like the
numbers 3? No, it's like a 1 through 9 number.
What is that?
It's just a personality test, and anyone who's listening should go take it because I think it's one of the most interesting personality tests.
Oh, is that the one? Okay. I think I've seen this before. There's like a star picture or something? No, okay. Maybe
no, it's just number 1 through 9, but a 3 is an achiever, and usually entrepreneurs are high in 3. So I'm a 7 and a 3, which is a weird combination. So 7s they love to have fun. And then 3s are achievers. So my jobs have always been fun because I prioritize. If I don't have fun every day, I actually get really mad.
Yeah.
Like I get angry. And so I'm like, okay, we're going to go on a walk later. It's going to be fine. You know what I mean? Like, if I have to work all day, I'm like in a pissy mood. So,
okay, I'm validated right now.
Yeah.
I think actually, who was talking about a voice brand? I think it was Julia Michelle that we just had on the show. I think she talked about the Enneagram, just called it something different, this numbered personality thing.
It's really interesting.
I'm a, so in a different personality quiz, and all of them are saying the same thing, just different wrapping paper, but I'm a warrior, get shit done kind of personality. Yeah. My secondary is healer. And it's this compassion that you're talking about, this empath that was like, I want everyone to feel happy, and I want, and not in a controlling way unless I'm really unconscious about it, but I want to be at peace with the people I love, and the people close to me and my children. But play is very important to me, especially on stage. I'm like, we gotta have the fireworks, we gotta have the smoke machines, we gotta be like dancing, we gotta have fun, and learning is fun and all that stuff. So I want to take this test and see.
Yeah, I send it to me what you ended up with.
Oh yeah,
because I want to know. I think it's really interesting. It helps you know how to love your people, and you are your Enneagram because of your childhood trauma. So it's a really interesting personality test because I think, like, I was in a family of 6 kids, like, you know, we were raised by the silent generation. Like, it was like every man for himself, you know? And so, like, I was stiffed out of 6 and didn't get a lot of parenting or care. And so I just figured out how to go make my own community and how to have fun all the time because it was the only way for me to feel okay in life because no one else was paying attention to my needs. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that was where mine stemmed from. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I also think my 3, which is my achiever, comes from my dad because he's a very hard worker. Yeah. So I always would watch him and help him and work with him. And it felt like it gave him purpose to do something he loved. He was an architect.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I kind of got that from him. So, yeah, it's a cool test. So you should try it.
Yeah. Do you get this to your ladies any retreat?
Yes, I do. And I also, like, have your kids take it because it helps you understand it better. Like, one of my kids is a 9, which is a peacemaker. And I totally see it now. And now I know how to love him a little bit better. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, peacemakers need a lot of alone time.
Yeah. Okay, my peacemaker she's interesting because she's
exactly what you're describing, but she's also into like horror films.
So is my really same, yeah.
What?
Okay,
that's wild.
Yeah, he has like an Exorcist poster in his room. I'm like, that's so welcoming.
It's so welcoming.
Yeah, I totally stay from my own house. Thank you for that.
But it's funny because she's like, I don't ever want to watch scary movies because they're so scary.
Yeah.
But her art form is like this. It's based on some like video game with like the devil in it, the ink machine.
Yeah.
Like, kind of creepy stuff. But
Yeah.
it's so funny that they have that both that in common.
Yeah, and my son's an artist too.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, wild. Anyway.
I feel like I'm looking in a mirror right now.
I
It's
know.
so weird.
Yeah. You're like, same.
What? Huh?
Yeah.
So, okay, so I want to hear more about these retreats, mostly because I want to go on one. But tell me about the transition again. Like, what made you want to start doing them?
Okay, so I'll tell you. My photography business was doing pretty good, but I was like really struggling emotionally and had started to go to therapy, and I was dating, and everything just felt messy. So I went on this trip to Croatia. I saw it on the REI website. And I was like, ooh, I want to go on this. But the dates didn't work for me. So I emailed REI and I said, I want to go on this sailing Croatia trip. If I get enough girls together, can I go? Can you guys do some different dates for me? And they said yes. So I literally put on Facebook, who wants to come sailing in Croatia with me? And the price was like super cheap. It was like $1,000 a person for a week. And you're like on a catamaran sailing. Like,
what?
It's freaking amazing. Anyways, and that's back when Croatia was a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
It's way more expensive now.
Christina.
Yeah. And then, so I went on this trip. I just put on Facebook, who wants to come with me? I didn't charge anything. I was just trying to get people to come on the trip.
Yeah, you got to get the people to go.
Yeah, so one of my best friends, Elena came, and she's like my bestie, still is. And then a bunch of other girls that were just like photographer friends or friends from Facebook. It was just a random group of girls. Like, there were 6 of us. We went, we had a great time. And the owner of the company was like, if you ever want to bring a group of women here, because we're trying to get more Americans to come, and they were the biggest tour company in Croatia at the time. And if you want to teach like a photography workshop, you know, like, he knew I was a photographer, I was taking photos all the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, that doesn't fit right. That doesn't feel right to me. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But then I was flying home from that trip, and we had that conversation. I got his info, and I was like, that really taught me a lot. Like, just going on that trip and just being like with a bunch of women and all of us talking about, like, you know, some of them had gone through divorces or were going through really hard times. It was very healing for me. Like, just being out on the ocean in the sun, like, we had nowhere to be. Like, it was just relaxing, but we were all connecting on a really deep level, and I needed it. And I was flying home, and I just kind of had a random thought that was like, wouldn't it be cool to just take a group of women for healing reasons, like on these trips? And I kind of sat with it for a little while, and then I was teaching a photography retreat like a month or 2 later, and my very best friend from Arkansas, her name is Tracy. I have lots of best friends, but she's like my person. Every day we talk, and I was teaching. We had a one-on-one. I had never met her before, and she was telling me how much she travels. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love to travel. Like, tell me where you've been. So we didn't even talk about photography when we had our one-on-one. We were talking about travel, and I was like, I had this weird thought. I don't want to do these trips where I take women, and she's like, if you announce it, I'll be the first person to book it. And there was another girl at that retreat, at that workshop, that was like, I'll book it too. And sure enough, I put it on Facebook. I had no website. I had no plan, really. I was just like, I'm just going to go see. And, like, I didn't even really make money from it. I made, like, maybe $1,000 or something. But my thought was, maybe I can travel for free and take women and take their photos and make them feel like $1 million and have a reset. And, like, I just had this random idea. And then we went, and it was like, Mom's Got Wild. Should have reined that in a little bit, but we were like day drinking.
Like, we're not marketing it this way.
We were day drinking and partying all day, and some of the women really just needed that.
Yeah.
Like, I had no kids to take care of. I don't have a husband to check in with. It's just me. I get to feel into, who am I? What do I like? Where am I going? And, like, really because I think women just abandon themselves so much.
Easily, too.
Just to make everybody else's lives better, because we are born nurturers, right? But then we put ourselves last, and then we wonder why we're always depleted. You know what I mean? And so I went on this retreat, and we just kind of like did meditations every morning. I didn't even really have a plan. And this is how I do all my businesses. I'm just like, throw spaghetti at the wall, see if it sticks.
See?
Yeah. But you know, some of the most successful entrepreneurs do it that way. You just have to show up messy.
I do this all the time. I'm looking at Richard so much because he's the implementer of all my harebrained ideas.
Yeah.
And he's the one that says, I have to finish the first thing you said. Can you slow down a little bit?
Yeah.
So
I'm okay with throwing stuff at the wall. We just have to throw one thing at the wall.
One thing a day. One thing a day. I agree. And then it's hard to keep up because I'm like an idea machine. We have similar brains, I think.
I think so.
Anyway, so I just, that was my first trip. And then I felt like, oh my gosh, I had such good feedback from it. And then people were asking, and I booked it in 1 hour, that first trip.
That filled up in 1 hour.
Yeah, I put it on Facebook,
man.
and I just put like a random link like to a Stripe invoice. Like it was just not even professional at all. But I had people who had been following me for a really long time, and they just wanted to hang out with me, I guess. Like I didn't understand that, like, why would they want to hang out with me? Like, I know I'm fun, but I didn't understand that you are your brand and people feel your energy. Mm-hmm. And authenticity is the highest frequency. And I feel like I've taken the last 7 or 8 years to realize, like, oh, I'm naturally authentic. I have been that way ever since I was a little girl.
Yeah.
Like, I will dance on tables. I'm dancing in the middle of the street. I'm doing cartwheels. I don't give a crap. Like, I'm just like, I'm going to go live my best life.
Yeah.
And if you want to join me, then we should go.
Yeah.
Do it together.
Or you could just watch.
But I'm not going to shrink myself or become small so that other people can feel comfortable. So, like, I just would go on these trips and we'd be like, you know, riding our bikes through villages and talking to all the locals. And we got a very off the beaten path type of trip. And then I basically planned any future trip around, put us in the culture. Take you outside of your, especially in the United States. I think that we have it all figured out. When you start to travel the world, you will see the United States does not have it all figured out. And that we
got some things figured out. The plumbing is great.
Yeah.
I will say
I love flushing toilet paper. So that's cool. But I will say that there's a lot of systems in place that create a lot of burnout in our lives and a lot of unhappiness.
I call it the glorification of busy.
Yeah. And it's just sad because you go to Europe, people are like, they take 2-hour lunches.
Yeah.
They do not work. They don't live to work.
No. And they're 1 week on, 1 week off.
And when they go on a vacation, they don't check their email for like 2 months or whatever. So it's like you start learning. So the reason why I want to put people in the culture so much is that a lot of times they go to third world countries and it makes people really see in person what true happiness looks like. They have nothing. They have so little. In our eyes, we're like, because we're taught that monetary is so important, right, in the U.S.
And not just taught, but it's reinforced.
It's reinforced.
Over and over and over again.
Yeah, we're always being like, buy the thing, it's going to make you happy. No. Happiness is an internal job. And so when you see these kids and they have nothing and they're just so happy and they're running around playing soccer barefoot and they are just in their joy, it kind of gives you a wake-up moment. And I can't explain that to someone and give it to them by just telling them. They have to be there to see it. Mm-hmm. And like I've just had so many women just say, just the experience woke me up. Maybe not the meditations, maybe not the photo shoot, maybe not connecting with other women, but seeing how other cultures live.
What's been your favorite place?
Bali. Bali is my favorite. Bali. I think Bali. Do you love Bali?
Yeah, that's like if you would ask me the same question, I would have said the exact same thing.
I've been to
this little pin right there.
I've been 4 times.
Oh,
and next year I'm planning on staying there for a month. And the people are just love,
especially those kids.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
So they truly live in karma. So I've had things happen on my trips there. There were like women crying because like they leave their wallet in like an Uber, or they leave cash at a restaurant, and they will do anything to find you and return it. Mm-hmm. Anything. They will drive across the entire island to bring it back to you because they truly believe in karma. If I were to take that money, something bad will happen to me. Mm-hmm. And so it is the most safe. Like you can travel there solo as a woman. The only thing you'd have to be worried about really is the tourists. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But the people there are the most loving, and I think it is probably the most healing place I've ever been. And I always meet with like a healer when I go. I went and met with a physical healer this year and a numerologist. And like, you know, sometimes people believe it, sometimes people don't. I do it just for the experience. And if I have something that I take away from it, I do. But it's just the people that are fully just in their joy. And it's really interesting to see the men there because they are so soft.
They're so sweet.
They're very sweet. They lead with their heart. Mm-hmm. They do not lead with their ego. Mm-hmm. And it's really beautiful to witness. I mean, men will be walking down the street with just their arms around each other, you know, and they're just buddies. And like, I remember one of the girls saying, oh gosh, gosh, is there a lot of gay men here? Like, are there a lot of
They should go brotherly.
I'm like, no, they just know how to love each other.
yeah.
They're not like caught up in their ego.
Yeah. They're gentlemen.
Yeah, they're gentle.
Yeah.
They're so sweet. And so like my guide there, he's like a brother to me, and like, I get to see his family, and like I just love him. So
I was studying the chakras of the planet one time, and I learned that Bali was the crown chakra.
ooh, that makes sense.
Doesn't it make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. I looked up this map and I was like, Hawaii is the heart, and Sedona is the orange chakra, and yeah, there's all these crazy things. But I felt that.
Yeah.
I was there. There's not just this karma, but this trust and intuition, just like we've been talking about this whole time. It's. I remember when we were there, we stopped at this. I mean, you can't call it a village. It's just a. Yeah, I mean, you know the houses. If they have walls, they don't have ceilings, and if they have ceilings, they don't have walls. And we stopped at this home, and the guy there said we should stop here because there's a lot of motorbikes parked outside. And usually that means there's a cockfight. And I was like, well, I don't feel about that, but let's go see what this is all about. And so there, we walked into this family's home.
Yeah.
That was not a tourist stop. We're just as if someone wants to walk into my home.
Yeah.
But they totally welcomed us. Probably 20 people coming through. These little kids had the rice on their foreheads, and they were doing some kind of celebration ceremony. And we went back into the jungle and saw this cockfight, which was like educational. But but I remember being in their home, and perfect strangers from the other side of the world. They're offering us food. They're like, here's, have some bread, have some chicken. Obviously not speaking anything, but just the energy of the giving. Oh my gosh.
I know. And could you imagine? We could never imagine that in the U.S. People just dropping into your home.
Yeah.
You'd be like, what are you doing on my property?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's like this feeling of we don't trust anyone.
I'm
And
so
in Bali-
I do that with people I know. I'm like, you don't just stop by.
I know.
I have a short list of people that I could just walk
Even
in.
like a phone call, I was like, that seems aggressive. Jeez. Did you know how to text? Do you know how to text?
That seems Jeez, I don't use my phone for that. Stop.
I literally never answer.
I don't either.
Sorry, I love you. I just never answer. Oh my god.
So funny. Oh man, it's okay. So you started, and I always like to bring it back to the stage because it's such a critical part of how businesses grow. It's such a critical part of you exposing your vulnerability to the world, and you do it with such beautiful authenticity. And you've used physical stages and digital stages to grow your business. What's been the best part of that for you?
I think just the connection with women, like even just how we're connecting right now, it's like women seeing each other and like holding each other's hands through it all. You know what I mean? Because to me, this is like my passion project. Feels like my purpose. You know what I mean? I think, and it's also made me grow so much. You know what it's also taught me is that, you know, I've had women on my retreats that weren't a fit or that were really difficult. And I've really learned how to communicate from love. And because the old Angie would just shut down and not say anything or like stuff it down. And now I can take someone to the side and say, hey, like, I'm noticing these things, and can we have a conversation? And to come from love and not to hurt them, because everyone's struggling in different ways. You know what I mean? And I kind of have a rule, like if you start negatively affecting the group, then you'll be asked to leave.
Yeah, I can ask you, Susan.
Yeah. So that is a rule of mine. Yeah. And so it's really taught me how to lead from my heart and be a good leader. And it's really funny because everyone's like, you don't seem stressed out at all on a trip. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm good at just like holding it in. Like I don't speak it, but it's in there. It's happening. But I just trust that everything is going to happen. I have this I think I've always lived like this. I always think everything's going to work out for me. I think everyone's my friend. I literally, even my boyfriend laughs. He's like, you literally think everyone's your friend? I'm like, they are. Like, and if someone doesn't like me, I'm like, that's weird. Like, it doesn't bother me, though. Yeah. It's just kind of this funny thing. And on my trips, I just assume everything's going to work out. Because it does.
Eventually it does.
And you have to, as the leader, you have to stay so calm, even when shit hits the fan. So it's like, I think that's like my biggest takeaway. It has taught me so much how to be in my power and how to show other women how to be in theirs. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know if that was really the question you were asking.
No, it evolved into something more beautiful.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if you wanted to know like what has been more of a payoff, like financially. Is that what you were asking?
Well, I'd like to know that. I mean, if the best thing for you in gut answer is like finding out who I am, helping women find out who they are. Great. Obviously, you're continuing to do it, so there's some financial, it makes sense to
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah.
right?
So
But-
yeah, I get to make money from it. And I'm also scaling my business now. So I have other posts go that are maybe in the wellness community that want to make a difference, or they just might want to go on a girls trip and they're like, I have 6 girls that want to go to Bali, but we don't want to go with a group of random people we don't know, which I understand. If you already have your solid group, but you just don't know how to plan it, like I have about 10 countries that I have set up basically a system and itineraries for all these places, and we can change the itinerary depending on the person and what they want or how long they want to go or what type of experience they want to have. But basically, I do all the behind the scenes and they get to just show up.
That's my favorite way to travel. Is I'm gonna land and I'm gonna get taken care of because I don't know anything.
And I am opposite of that. I'm like, I want to land and have no clue what's going on because it's exciting to me.
Yeah. As long as I mean like that, but I don't want to be the one to plan what's not going on.
I like the planning part of it, and I also like showing up in full surrender. Like my dream trip would be, I was even talking to my boyfriend about this, but I'm like, let's just get a one-way ticket somewhere and have 0 plans.
That'd be so fun.
It'd be so fun. But for some people, they would not do well with that.
Yeah.
And really, life is all about surrender. So the more I do work, the more I learn. Just be in surrender. Just be in surrender. You are in control of such little in your life besides the way you how you feel, like your mindset, the way you react to things. But everything else is like, every day's an adventure if you get in that mindset of like surrender. Yeah. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen today. Like, I have no clue how this was gonna go today, but I'm having a great time.
I'm having so much fun.
You know what I mean? Like living in surrender. And I think that's what I also want to teach on my retreats too. It's like women. I saw this quote recently that was like, "Have you ever met a relaxed woman?" And I'm like,
the one-liner comedy.
Not really. Like most women are highly stressed or, just anxious or whatever.
Got a million things on our brain.
Yeah, and it's like women are meant to be in surrender and be in flow, like doing what we love. And that's why I'm so committed to doing what I love, because then life doesn't feel like hard. It doesn't feel like a ton of work. Yeah, I have days that are stressful, right? But it's not like I still get to do what I love and live in that flow of like, oh wow, I get to travel the world. I get to take photos of people and make them feel like $1 million. And I get to connect with people, which is what I'm good at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know that's my gift. And so, I don't know, I think teaching surrender and letting life serve you what you need and being in that flow is one of the most beautiful ways to live.
You remind me of an experience we had when we were flying from South Africa back home. And, there's layovers.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
It's so exhausting. And I remember the plane that we were supposed to take off on came into the airport, but it got struck by lightning on the approach.
Oh my God.
Thank God everyone was okay, but it went through the nose of the plane and it affected all this technical equipment in the lightning storm, which meant that we couldn't use that plane to fly out.
Yeah.
They had to ground it. And so it's 747, big ass airplane, full of people, is getting shut down and rerouted, which means we're all getting booked in these hotels in Johannesburg. And we woke up the next morning and the coolest feeling is exactly what you're talking about. I literally don't know where in the world I'm going today.
Yeah.
I don't know when we're going to take off and where the plane's going. I could go, because I have to get on the other side of the globe. I could end up anywhere. We ended up in Qatar. And I was like, this is so cool. The Qatar airport's my favorite place.
And those end up being your favorite travel stories, right?
It was amazing.
Right? And so I'm always like, when shit hits the fan, I'm always telling people, it's going to be a part of your story. Just enjoy it. Like, we're going to laugh about this literally probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And this is going to sound a little bit sacrilegious in a way, I guess, but in a way, I believe, and tell me what you think, that the more, and I don't want to say tragic, because first of all, don't invite that, but I think there's potential in tragedy for the most incredible moments of your life.
Totally. Yeah, it's like, I feel like you feel most alive when things like that happen, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we get numb in the comfort of life. But to be actually living is like, there's going to be, so for you to feel a high amount of joy, you have to be willing to feel a deep amount of pain. It's a polarity that you have to be willing to face. And when I was Mormon, I was such a robot. I didn't feel anything. I literally just did my to-do list and would go to bed at night. I was not allowed to feel. I literally taught myself not to feel.
Ooh, what a punch to the gut.
Yeah, it was not fun. But once I allowed myself to feel, and now I think I want to be an example to women that like, being courageous means being vulnerable, means crying in public, crying in front of your friends, saying, I'm really having a hard day, and admitting it instead of hiding it. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's what makes me feel so alive in my life now, is that I do live in that roller coaster, that's how humans are supposed to live. We're not supposed to, means dead.
There's no growth.
You're numb. You're not feeling anything. But now my joy is so high and my pain is so deep. So when I get into my pain, I remind myself, but I'm going to feel joy at the highest of highs because I'm allowing myself to come here.
Oh, that's so powerful.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%.
And I still feel really deep pain some days. Like, I still have things I'm healing from. You know what I mean? I'm a pattern breaker in my family. And I know that. And I take it seriously. And because part of us healing the collective, healing the world, is to heal ourselves so that our kids see us healing. So then they have a healed parent. And then when they have children, if they have children, then they can give them that same gift. Because if you think of anything in the world that is going awry right now, it's all because of suffering.
Someone's
war,
Yep.
like
all the political
garbage
stuff that's happening.
It's all separating us. I mean, it's a distraction. You know what I mean? Everything, like, I don't even get into politics or religion or anything with people very much anymore because I'm like, it's all just separating us.
Yeah.
And really what we need to be focusing on, instead of focusing outward on this president is doing this and this religion's doing this, go inward.
Yeah.
Heal here. Because you'll see that, like, once you heal, you're going to feel so much love in your life. Just for the smallest, littlest things, because you're going to realize that everything out here is a miracle that's happening every day.
Yeah.
And that you get to just go love people because you're going to be overflowing with love. When you heal your heart, when you heal your body, when you heal your past, and I don't think I'm fully there, but I have days where I'm like, I have so much love.
Just overflowing.
I feel like I'm overflowing. And like now it's like so nice to be dating someone because I'm like, it's like to be able to give someone that
someone
love.
to pour into.
Yeah. And it's like I give that to my kids and I give that to my friends, but I'm like, I almost feel like I have too much. Like I need to give some of this away. Like who wants it?
Yeah.
You know, so even when I go to the grocery store or the gas station, I'm always making eye contact. I'm
Do you
always
do this
like,
game, like how many people like to make smile?
yeah. You know what's so funny? I'll go on walks and I always make eye contact. Like, hi, how are you? And like I really try to just be like, because you never know who's having a hard day.
Yeah.
And just making eye contact and saying hi, how are you can change someone's day, right? But it's interesting how few people look back at me and say anything. They'll keep
They're
walking.
so confused.
Yeah.
They're like,
why is she saying
what just
anything?
happened? Is she going to steal my purse? Like,
Yeah, it's funny too because I grew up in California and like everyone would just kind of talk to each other in stores or restaurants, whatever. And then I moved to Utah and I noticed that people look down more. They don't make eye contact as much. They don't like talk to each other as much. And so
inner city Utah, yes. When I lived in Spanish Fork, it was cowboys. And,
that's probably
I
true.
was
Small
going,
town.
everyone's friends at Macy's.
Is that where you grew up?
No, I grew up in Denver.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I lived here and all that. But I think you're right that,
Yeah.
especially in downtown high rise,
Yeah.
we're right here and that's it.
Yeah, we're
It's
forgetting to be present.
A great distraction.
Yes. Anyways, that was kind of a tangent, but
Oh no, everything's perfect. Yeah. What's your big goal? What's next for you? Where are you going?
gosh, I feel like I'm gonna start some courses. So I will be teaching how to lead your own retreats, and I'll give people literally everything my back end looks like, all my systems that I have in the back end. Because I think retreats are really popular right now. They're really helping people in a lot of ways. And so, but to be able to lead one, like say you have the information you want to give to people, but all the logistics of it scare you. So I'm going to be teaching a course for that. I'm going to be scaling my business where more hosts go. Like in September, I have 3 hosts going.
Oh, wow.
To, let's see, Bali, Morocco, and Croatia.
Beautiful.
And then with my photography, I'll probably be teaching. I'm actually going to do a basics photography course for like people that are young, that are wanting to start a photography business. I just kind of got this calling to do that this last week where I was like, I want to teach like, because when I got into photography, I went to this training called Impact Training. Have you heard of it? Yeah, I went to that training when I was 25.
Kool-Aid in the back, friends.
Yeah. And I was working 9 to 5 at the time, and I hated it. I had a degree in psychology, but I had my minor in photography, and I was just like, always wanted to be a photographer. So I went to Impact, and they kept saying, what's your dream?
Yeah.
And I said, I want to be a photographer. And that training pushed me to be a photographer. So like, I want to be speaking to those 25-year-old kids like I was, teaching them that you can create the life of your dreams and do what you love. And I have a very flexible schedule. Like, no one can hang out when I can hang out. I'm like free during the day because I shoot a lot at night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, like no one I feel really lucky that I have a very flexible schedule. So I'm either traveling and going abroad for fun and for work. It doesn't feel like work to me.
Yeah.
Or I'm photographing people. And a lot of them are return clients. So it's like, I get to see my clients. I get to hang out.
To watch those families grow up.
Yes.
Like, oh, that's cool.
It's really cool. I definitely have like the teenagers a lot right now, which is a little hard, I'm not gonna lie. Because like, first of all, dad never wants to be there. And then the teenagers on top of that. So I like really have
it's the game to get the dad.
Oh yeah. And it's like, with little kids, you can like bribe them.
Oh yeah.
But with teenagers, you cannot bribe them. They're just committed to being, you know, upset that day. And so I'm just trying to like joke with them as much as possible. But I love my clients. I think that's what keeps me in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's flexible. Like so I actually interviewed to sell art at a place on Park City Main Street.
Oh, no
Like
kidding.
a year ago, just for fun. I was like, I'm going to try something totally different. And my takeaway, I went through all these interviews. They were going to hire me. They were even going to change the schedule for me. So it would work with my kids' schedule and everything. And then I sat there and I was like, because it's mostly based on commission because they're selling like really expensive art pieces.
Oh, I just walked through there a couple months ago.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah, it's amazing. But then I was like, oh, wait. Okay, so I'm going to take a chance on someone else's business. Why am I not taking a chance on mine? And it was like a rude awakening of like, you have the most flexible schedule. You get to do what you love. You get to inspire other people. You get to make people feel good about themselves. You get to help people heal. Like, no, I'm going to go this direction. So I turned it down, but it was weird to interview for a job. I hadn't done that in like 20 years.
Yeah, I think that's just those little reminders that, no, you were on the right track.
I was on the right track. I just think I was doubting myself or maybe wanting something different. Like, you know, as an entrepreneur, you might get bored after a while. And then you want to start 10 different businesses. Believe me, girl. I am like, I'm there every day. I'm like, oh, maybe I should do this. And then I'm like, no. Focus on
Keep it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's the need for variety is when you're
Yes. And it's 7 Enneagram is like, we need variety a lot.
And you're already traveling the world and you're already meeting so many different people, but yet it's insatiable.
Yeah, I think I have like an insatiable feeling for those things.
So your big goal, your next step is to create these courses. Where, like, what's the big, hairy, audacious, almost like seemingly out of reach thing? You're gonna create the courses. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
People are gonna sign up. It's gonna be great. But what is like the hairy dream? If there was no restrictions on time, no restrictions on money, forget the laws of physics, even like, what would you do?
Like for business,
for anything,
for work,
like for you, because it's for you.
So what I'm actually working right now is moving out of the country. And I wanted to do that for the last 5 or 6 years. My body, I mean, the food here, right?
Oh, it's so
poison. And with getting sick last year, it made me really see how terrible our health system is and all that kind of stuff. So I am working on moving out of the country. And that is my ultimate goal. But see, I don't know if I want to stay in one place. I'm kind of almost feel like I want to be a little bit nomadic.
That's the word that came to mind.
Yeah, so
you're never gonna.
And I think I would do well with that. Like I'm really good with change and adapting because I've moved like 20 times in my life. Like I just know how to adapt really quickly.
Yeah.
So what my thoughts are is to travel for a year, pick 5 places I want to live, and stay at each place for maybe 2 or 3 months. Get to know it, see what it really feels like to live there, and then make a decision after that first year of where to like settle down. And if I don't end up liking it, I can change it. Like
I can go.
Yeah, or I could come back to Utah if I felt like it. But my first thought was to move to Mexico just because it's a direct flight. I can see my kids whenever I want. My youngest would probably come with me. But yeah, I'm just ready for, like, I've lived in Utah for 30 years and I've never really liked it, to be honest. And that's why I travel a lot. But I have custody of my kids here. I don't want to abandon them.
Of course.
All that kind of stuff. So the traveling is kind of like.
Are they kind of older?
So I have a 13-year-old, and then my twins just graduated from high school. Yeah, so I am like moving into a different.
They're adulting.
Oh yeah, and like they don't even like, besides money and like a hug here and there, like a little bit of food. I mean, they feed themselves. Like it is so weird to transition to the state where like they don't want to hang out with me, they don't want to play with me, and they don't really even need me.
Yeah.
Like it's so weird. Yeah. It's so strange, but But I'm so excited for the next chapter.
You'll always be mom. They'll need you in just different ways.
Yeah, but I have had this dream forever. I literally told my kids at a young age, Mommy's moving out of the country when you turn 18. And they're like, okay.
And now it's happening.
Yeah, it's happening. So now that is my biggest goal, is to shift my business into more passive income so that I can live anywhere. And if I'm moving around a lot, then I don't have to be, I don't want to be trading my time for money as much.
Those courses would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've done courses before. I know how it goes. And I'm good at teaching.
Yeah.
I think I just took a break from it for a while, and I don't know, I'm just still on the call to do that again. But I don't know if like on a big scale, financially, what I'm doing, I think ultimately, I just want to help people. You know?
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And I think you speak on stage quite a bit, right? I think my biggest fear / goal is to speak on a big stage at one point. But I don't know what that looks like. And I don't know what it's going to be about, but I know it's going to happen. Yeah. And I also want to write a book, and I'm going to put this out here right now just to say it, and it's going to be called How to Love, because so many people do not know how to love. You get to a place where you're 40 years old and you're like, I don't even know how to love people. I don't even know how to love myself. And I think that someone needs to break it down and make it really simple and easy and give actual tools on how to love, how to be emotionally available. Like, I had no clue how to do that. Like, even in my marriage, I look back and I'm like, oh, you want to blame the other person. They did this, they did that. But there's accountability in every relationship and friendship. So I had to really take a look at myself and be like, oh my God, I don't think I was being emotionally available to him or my children. I was just working all the time. It was the one thing, it was just stroking my ego. It made me feel better about myself. And then at some point, you're like, this actually isn't really doing anything for me. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Dopamine hit.
It's just dopamine. It's just giving me money. Yeah, money's great, but you know what's most important on earth is our relationships. And so I feel really strongly about this one, but I do want to write a book and would love to go on tour or something, because I do think that, like, think about it. Any type of healing or any type of struggle, what it needs is compassion and love. Every single time. The more healing you do, the more you will learn. You cannot you can't go in and be hard on yourself and then heal from it. You have to go in there and love the inner child. You have to go in there and give compassion, because, like, think about your little kid. If they're doing something wrong or repeating a pattern over and over, you're not going to be like, you idiot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why did you do that? But so stupid. You're going to be like, come here, sweetie.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. And that has been my biggest healing, is to go inside and heal my inner child. Because truly, we are all just little kids. We are all just little kids pretending to be adults and doing our best. And when those emotions or reactivity come up, it's our little kid inside of us sending us a little message, like, something's off, something's hurting. Yeah. And so I feel really strongly about just, like, healing that part of ourselves and learning how to love. Because if we all learn how to love better, our world heals more and more and more and more, and that's what we need. So.
Well, let this be the beginning of the announcement of your book.
Yeah. I actually haven't really told many people that. Like, maybe 2 people. And I think it's good to say it out loud, because then you're like, you hold yourself accountable.
You guys, we got to when it goes out, we'll do another episode.
Okay.
From somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
And we'll push it and just get it into the hands, because I back your cause, and I believe in that.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, I do feel like I was sent here for that.
Yeah.
And it feels weird to say that, but it feels true in my body. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's so majestic. Oh my gosh. There's so much more to do. Like, I feel like we're kindred spirits in a way. And it's such an honor to be in proximity with you, and to have you on the show, and to hear about all you're excited about and your family. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you. I feel honored, honestly. Thank you for asking me.
Part one of hopefully many.
Yes.
Friends, this is Angie Monson. Yeah. We're going to put all of your stuff in the show notes. If someone wants to go on a retreat with you, I know you're not going to stop them anytime soon.
Yeah.
So how do they find you?
On Instagram, it's the Traveling Sisterhood. And or they can go to the sisterhood.shopify.com.
Okay. We'll put both of those.
And I say both of those links. But perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly on Instagram. A lot of people follow me on there.
Yeah.
Kind of see what we're up to.
Well, check out her photography. It's second to none in my book. I've been following her forever. And then also go stalk her on Facebook, because that's where she puts all of her best friend announcements.
I do.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Awesome. Friends, that's the Marianne Hickman Show. We'll see you in the next episode. And for everyone online, hello.
Hi.
Thank you for being here. This was live. Thank you for your comments, for jumping in.
If you go to my YouTube channel, this is where, or wherever you listen to podcasts, it's on Spotify, Amazon, wherever podcasts are listened to. You can rewatch this episode, and all the show notes will be there, so you can check out everything Angie's doing. Awesome. One of the things that I loved most about having Angie on the show is finding this common ground. Now, Angie and I have so much in common, but there's also these beautiful different perspectives that we have on the same thing. And I know I learned a lot from Angie today. And honestly, I hope we get to do some women's retreats together in the very near future. She's an incredible woman. We were honored to have her in our studio. And when she puts on her events, ladies, you don't want to miss these. She's a beautiful soul. I'm excited for you to hear all about what she's up to. And also, if you are like Angie and you're thinking about taking the stage and you want to get on podcasts and you want to start developing your signature presentation and you want to start doing events, we have got to jam. The very first step is getting access to appearing on more podcasts. So what I want you to do is go to mariannehickman.com/database. That's going to give you free access to my entire podcast database with over 500 podcasts that need guests and 500 guests that need to be on shows. So if you run a show, this is going to be really helpful for you too. Check that out.